Let me ask you this. Now, this is going to be a crazy question. Do you believe in something like that? Do you believe that maybe there could be angels or something that could have been present at that time to see what was going on? And then, do you believe in things like that?
Hi, this is Chazz Palminteri.
The Wise, and I'm Michael Franzese.
The wise guy.
It's been a while.
It's been a while. Well, you've been busy. I've been busy.
Yes.
What do we got on the agenda today?
Well, it's good to have you out here on the West Coast.
Yes, obviously. I'm here on the West Coast with Michael, and I always like coming out here, especially where you live up here. It's really nice.
Nice here. And you guys have been getting a lot of rain back
Yes.
east in New York and Florida, too.
Yes.
It's been crazy.
It's crazy, man. It's like weird. Actually, it's getting colder here and warmer in New York. I don't understand it.
You know what, Chazz? The weather pattern here has been so crazy. In the last year and a half, I've seen more rain in Southern California than I saw since I started coming out here in '79. It's been crazy.
Wow.
And show you some of the stats. The Dodgers, they moved out here in '56, right?
Right.
From '56 to 2020, they had 12 rainouts.
That's
12
crazy.
total.
That is crazy. I never realized that.
Yeah, 12 rainouts. That was it. And now we've had a lot of rain the last year and a half. It's been crazy, but who knows? Now maybe now we don't have a drought anymore, and we got all the water we need, because you always have a drought in California.
That's
Hopefully
true.
we got plenty now. But
Right.
anyway, you've been busy.
I've been very busy. Yes, I'm very excited.
I have to say something, and I have to let the audience know. I saw the film of your one-man show. I went to the premiere.
Yes.
And,
Well, it was a sneak preview.
Sneak preview, I should say.
Right,
I'm sorry,
yeah.
sneak preview. And I don't know, I don't want to insult you. I don't know which is better. You were live on the stage or the movie.
Well,
The movie was
you know what?
terrific.
It's two different experiences. I did two sneak previews. Then we're going to be showing it at De Niro Con right after the Tribeca Film Festival, and it's going to open. De Niro Con they're having a special festival with all of Bob's movies, and this is going to be the first movie to introduce it, June 14th. So I'm really excited by that, and I'm going to be going to theaters in New York, Chicago, L.A., San Francisco. So I'm really excited by it.
Well, I got to tell you, it was really done well. And for those of you that don't know, just about everybody, I think, has seen the live show. You've been doing it for 33 years now?
34 years, yeah.
34 years. One-man show, 34 years. Bronx Tale was born out of the one-man show.
That's correct.
And then I was, fortunate enough to see the sneak preview, and it's done so well.
Well, thank you.
It was really,
Yeah,
really
no, I'm very
terrific.
proud of it. I used 5 cameras. I directed it, and we'll wait as it gets closer. We'll talk about it more. But for it's like it's a different. The one-man show, the movie, the musical is all different. And now the film of the one-man show is different because you're actually inside the actor, all those actors' faces, which is my face. But obviously, I play all the parts, so it's different, and it's a great experience, and I'm really excited by it. I can't wait till
And it really works. It really works.
Well, thank
so
you.
I'm very happy for you. Of
Thank
course.
you. I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
As long as it's around Easter time, and as long as we're talking movies, I came across something that was so interesting to me, and I didn't know all of this beforehand, but the movie Passion of the Christ.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm sure you saw it. Mel
Sure,
Gibson,
yeah.
just about everybody's seen it. That was the highest grossing faith-based film
Yes.
ever.
Yeah.
Independent. And it was
Independent
also
film,
the
yeah.
highest grossing R-rated film of all time. I didn't know that. It was
didn't
like
know that
$600
either.
million. Yeah.
And do you know, I don't know Mel Gibson, but I know people who know him very well, that he went around to the studios and begged them to distribute it.
Yeah.
Begged them. No one would touch it. He got so upset that he said, hey, I'll do it myself.
Yeah.
And that's what he did.
Well, I got to tell you, I want you to comment on this article that I read. It's amazing to me, and I'm going to read a little bit and then stop and ask you about it. Passion of Christ. Mel Gibson warned actor Jim Caviezel, who you know well, right, good friend, that playing the character of Christ was going to be very difficult, and that if he accepted, he most likely would be marginalized by Hollywood. And I got to ask you that, Chazz. This is something I don't understand. You're playing Jesus Christ. He didn't hurt anybody. He's not a bad person, whether you believe in him or not. why would you be marginalized in Hollywood for playing the character of Jesus when they play bad guys, they play mobsters,
Yeah.
they kill people, they play serial killers, they play rapists, they play everybody, and that's okay. But you're marginalized by playing Jesus Christ. I don't get it.
I don't know. I wish I had an answer for you. But it seems like anybody who played that part, it's a difficult part to play. I think, if I remember, Jeffrey something played the original.
Jeffrey Hunter, I think.
Jeffrey
it was.
Hunter.
Yes.
That's correct. Jeffrey Hunter played Jesus Christ. And, I think his career didn't do that well. But why would Hollywood put you down for playing the greatest man who ever lived? I don't understand
Well,
that.
and I think Mel said this to him after he did go to all the studios and got turned down. And from what I heard, he didn't understand that either. He said, why am I being turned down for this film? But maybe that's when he got the idea that, hey, this is really going to be an issue among my peers here.
Yeah. And he paid for it himself.
Yeah. Well, let me read on again. This fascinating article. Caviezel asked for a day to think about it, and his response to Mel, who was funding and directing the movie by himself, was, quote, I think we have to make it, even if it's difficult. And then something else, Caviezel said, my initials are JC, Jesus Christ, and I'm 33 years old. And Jesus was 33 years old when he was killed. I didn't realize that until now, and then Mel responded, you're really scaring me, Some crazy things happened during this film.
Right. Now Jim was a born-again Christian even before he was offered the film.
Yes.
So, and he looks like Christ.
He does.
And who better to play Christ but him? And he had some really physical challenges making that movie, right?
Oh, let me tell you, I couldn't believe it. I didn't know all of this. I heard a little bit about it, but during the filming, Caviezel, who plays the part of Jesus, lost 45 pounds. He was struck by lightning. He was accidentally struck twice during the scourging scene, leaving a deep 14-inch scar. He dislocated his shoulder when the cross was dropped into the hole with him on the cross. He then suffered pneumonia and hypothermia from being nearly naked with only a loincloth on the cross for endless hours. The crucifixion scene alone took 5 weeks of the 2 months of shooting. Now, you know what 5 weeks of shooting for one scene.
God.
One scene.
5 weeks.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like, the fight scene in Bronx Tale took 4 days. This took 5 weeks?
5 weeks for one scene. Did you ever hear of any
Not that long,
scene
no.
taking that long?
No.
You know, when I think about it, dislocated the shoulder. The Romans, they were barbaric.
Yes.
I mean, crucifixion was like the worst absolute way you
Well,
could
that's probably the worst way a man could die.
Yeah.
As a crucified, one of the worst ways. Because you can't breathe. Your body just deteriorates. Yeah. It's a slow death.
And you know that you die by asphyxiation.
Yes.
That's how you die. The way you survive is they put brace there so you can push on your
So you
feet.
can push on with your feet.
Yeah. And they think they're doing you a favor, but they're not, because if that brace wasn't there, you'd die quicker.
You would die quicker, yeah.
But your natural instinct is to push against it so that you catch your breath and you live longer.
And the amazing thing about that is when the Romans, they killed all the disciples, was it John or Peter who said, I don't deserve to die like God, Christ put me
Upside down, it was Peter.
It was Peter.
Upside down
He said,
on the cross.
do me upside down.
Yeah, that's faith.
Do you know not one of them broke?
Not one, no. Chazz, that's the thing for me, As you know, I'm born again, and obviously I studied the Bible a lot, especially when I was in prison in the hole. But that was such dramatic proof for me that, look, I related it to my own life. Guys started to turn, when they were faced with heavy time, they turned and my life was destroyed. But when you see guys, people, it's funny in the Bible, nobody denies that Jesus lived. That's a fact. And there's plenty of evidence outside of Scripture to corroborate that. Plenty of evidence. Nobody really argues that he was crucified. Fact. Again, a lot of evidence outside Scripture that would support that.
That's correct.
The problem is people have a problem with the resurrection.
The resurrection.
The fact that he lived. But the same writers wrote everything. The same writers wrote about his life. The same writers wrote about his
Right.
death. The same writers wrote about his resurrection. But, that became very definitive proof for me, because after Christ was crucified, all the disciples ran. They were scared.
Right.
Peter denied him twice,
Right.
This is scripture, and they all ran. Well, what would make them all of a sudden go to their death because they saw him alive? Because you're not going to go to your death for something you don't believe in.
No. I mean, seeing somebody rise from the dead. Okay, I got it now.
Yes.
I got it now.
Yeah, you're not going to, if you don't see that, you figure he's dead. What I believed in is over. It's gone. It's done.
Right.
But when they saw the resurrection, that's when every one of them went to their deaths willingly. And like you said, Peter wanted to be upside down. He didn't even want to be held the same way as Christ was. It's amazing. That was pretty much proof for me. I mean, there's more, but obviously that was strong.
No, it was
but listen
funny
to this.
because, no, go ahead.
No, this is more about Caviezel. After all of that, his body was so stressed and exhausted from playing the role that he had to undergo 2 open heart surgeries right after the filming production. I never knew that. 2 open heart surgeries from exhaustion and everything that he went through.
He must have really he just must have gave everything that he had,
Do you know of any other role that could ever have been that stressful?
No.
On anyone?
No. His initials JC, and he was 33 years old. That's scary.
Yeah, Mel said, "You're scaring me now." And that is, like, what is that all about?
I don't know. I always go, what's coincidence and what's not? Is everything a coincidence or everything is not a coincidence? I don't know.
And people, we're just discussing, an article that I believe to be factual. I think everything that we're talking about here is factual. But it does give you food for thought. It makes you think, for those of you that are non-believers, gives you something to think about.
Yeah, I mean, and we're not here to convince anybody, but
No.
we're here just to talk. Whether you're a born-again Christian or a Catholic like myself, I don't know. Like, when do you? But you see, but every time I look for that answer, like as human beings, we want proof.
Yeah.
I want proof, and God's saying, "No, I'm not giving you proof, because if I give you proof, then you'll come to me. You won't. You have to have faith.
Exactly.
That's what faith is. You have to. I have faith, and I'm willing to take that leap. Otherwise, it's not faith."
Exactly. And he'll give you so much evidence to support,
Right.
but then you got to take it the rest of the way.
Right.
You got to put it all together and take it the rest of the way.
Yeah, that's
Now,
exactly right.
here's some more strange things that happened on the set. Jim explained, "I didn't want people to see me. I just want them to see Jesus. Conversions will happen through that." That was his feeling in taking on
Yeah.
the role. So now, almost like a clairvoyant prediction, many amazing things happened on the set. Pedro Surubi, who played Barabbas, for those of you that don't know who Barabbas is, he was the thief I think he was a murderer also, that, it was Roman custom that around Passover time, they would free one person that was in captivity.
Right.
So it was either Barabbas or Jesus, and then all the people that betrayed Jesus said, "Give us Barabbas." And so Barabbas was freed.
Yes.
So this guy, Pedro Surubi, he played Barabbas. He felt that it was not Caviezel who was looking at him, but Jesus Christ himself as he played that role, he said of Caviezel. And this is a quote, "His eyes had no hatred or resentment towards me, only mercy and love." And he said this when he was looking up at the cross during the crucifixion scene. And he was really touched by that. I think he converted. He became a Christian as a
Really?
result. Yeah. So that was one thing. Then this, Lucella Leonelli, the artist who played Judas, and Judas was the person that betrayed Christ,
He was a betrayer, yeah.
was an avowed atheist before shooting began. He eventually converted and baptized all of his children during the filming rather. One of the main technicians working on the film was a Muslim, and he converted to Christianity. Now listen to this, Chazz. Some producers said they saw actors dressed in white they didn't recognize during one of the filming sessions. They filmed it, and when they reviewed the recordings, they realized they couldn't see them in that footage. So they were in the footage when they filmed, and then went into the editing room to look at it, they disappeared. Let me ask you this. Now, this is going to be a crazy question. Do you believe in something like that? Do you believe that maybe they could be angels or something that could have been present at that time to see what was going on. And then, do you believe in things like that?
I do, yeah. I believe in angels, no question. Yeah, I believe in angels. I've had angels in my life. I've seen it, a person in the form of an angel. No,
I believe it too.
It happened once, yeah.
I mean, it's wow. It's the wow factor when you hear it, but I totally believe it. And
No,
I think some
I
crazy
do.
things happened on that set that are very hard to explain in human terms.
Yeah, I mean, I know what I know. I mean, I remember, I told the story many times. It was just, the whole room got white, and this person came and spoke to me, and, they were right, so I wasn't on drugs or nothing.
Well, you know what? It brought me back to a time. This was just before I was going to prison the first time, and my wife and I were in our condo at the time. I bought a
Right.
condo on Wilshire Boulevard, and we were praying. And I was not really a guy I believe really in the power of prayer. I just don't believe that much in the power of my prayer.
Yeah,
Because I don't think that I'm gifted in that regard.
right.
But my mother-in-law was a prayer warrior. My wife prays, unbelievable. But we were in the room, Chazz. It was a dark room, and all of a sudden, the room just lit up. And then it died down. While we were praying, and we just looked up and looked around to see if there was
What's that
anything.
about?
And I don't know, this was maybe, we felt, hey, our prayers were answered. It's going to be okay. We're going to
Yeah.
go through some stuff, but that's how we kind of interpreted it at the time. And here I am.
I mean,
all
you're not
these years
crazy.
later.
It happened.
Yeah.
How it happened, you don't know, but it happened.
And we both saw it. It wasn't like it was just me or
Yeah.
just her. So we both felt it. We both saw it, and we were like stunned. Like, what happened? So
Wow.
hard to explain. Let me finish it up. Oh, well, we talked about The Passion of the Christ, the highest grossing U.S. religious film, as well as the highest R-rated film of all time, 370.8 million worldwide, and it grossed to 611 million, rather, worldwide. It reached hundreds of millions of people around the world. Mel Gibson paid $30 million out of his own pocket for the production of the film because no studio would take on the project. Today, Jim Caviezel simply and boldly proclaims his faith in Christ and the miracle it was for him to represent Christ as an actor and a greater believer of Christ because of his experience. I think that movie has changed lives. I really have.
Wow.
It's amazing. Which brings me to this, Chazz. You're in the business. This drives me crazy sometimes. Cam and I went to a movie the other night. We're trying to find a good movie. It's very hard now to go to the theater and find a movie. And so there was a movie called Immaculate.
Yeah.
And it was about a novice nun that was sent to Italy from the United States in a certain convent. And bad things start to happen there. What happens? Crazy story. There was allegedly one of the nails that went into Jesus on the cross was
Right.
found. And there was some dried up blood on there. So they did a DNA, and they took the blood, and they injected it in this young girl, and she got pregnant, right? And so allegedly, that was actually blasphemous, that was an origin of Jesus. But it was a scary movie. But when I walked out of the movie, I looked and I said, why would you put all the effort and money and time into making something like this? It doesn't make sense to me. How many times have we seen that in Hollywood? When you walk out and say, why did they put all that effort into this movie?
Right.
I mean, can you explain that? I mean,
Because it's a boys' club. They put it together. It looks like a movie, and you're not sure. This could be a good movie, and people get convinced that it's going to be good, and the director starts saying, "Oh, I can make something. This is going to be something," and then they make it, and and then it comes out and it's wrong. You don't really know what you have till the ashes are in the seats, Michael.
yeah, huh?
You could think it's the famous William Goldman line. Nobody knows nothing. It's the truth. You think you can make a great movie, then you put it out there, and the people just start walking out. They hate it
Yeah.
because it's just not a movie is a live thing. It's alive. It's emotions, and if every beat doesn't go into every beat, you just go,
Yeah.
I can't watch this anymore. You get up and you walk out. Then
I
you
don't
get like
understand
a
it.
great movie like Godfather or Goodfellas or
Bronx Tale.
Bronx Tale, whatever. Yeah, and you just keeps you there. Dances with Wolves, and, you know, Shawshank Redemption, Favorite Private Ryan. And it just keeps you there because you're invested in the character.
Yeah, but you could see that. I mean, you see the substance in
Yeah.
the script, and you could start to feel it. When I see a movie like this, or some of the movies now that are on Netflix that are just about unwatchable, I
Yeah.
say, why do people put all that time, effort,
They
and
don't
money into
know.
something like this?
They
I
don't
don't
know.
get it.
They actually think it's going to be good.
I got to tell you got to have some kind of weird imagination for some of these films that
Yeah.
you see.
Well, see, some people just write films to be different. The shock value, the more violent it is, the more people will see it. That's why they try a lot with horror movies. Because if you get the right horror movie, you don't have stars in it, it doesn't cost you a lot of money, you can make a lot of money.
Yeah.
And that's all they care about.
Yeah.
You know, I want to make a lot of money.
End of day.
Where I just care about myself, I just want to make a great movie and hope that it does well.
Yeah.
Because you don't know. You really don't know. Make Casablanca, you know. First script by Walter Houston, you know, it's his first movie he directed. You know, how do you know?
You know what? Someone told me recently, and you could verify that from the time a script is start writing the script, until people are actually in the seats in the theater watching the movie, the average time is 13 years for that to happen.
It's a little faster today because of all the internet and streaming that we have. It's probably half that today, but I would say 7 years by the time you start writing it. The movie that has the record of the fastest is a movie with Robert Duvall and Michael Douglas. He's in the car. I think it's called Falling Down or something. 14 months.
Yeah, I know the one you mean. Yeah,
14 months.
Yeah, 14 months from start
Which is
to
unheard of.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is unheard
Yeah, it
of.
was a crazy movie. I know the one. Duvall was a cop, I think. He was chasing this guy.
Something
right?
like that,
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah. And Michael Douglas lost his mind doing all these crazy
It takes a
things.
long time to make a movie. You could have the biggest star, the biggest director, the biggest script writer, and make a movie that sucks.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, as you know, it all starts with the script. That's it.
Yeah.
It's all the story.
I mean, you got to start with a really good script. Now, the wrong casting, the bad director could really mess up a great script.
Yeah.
Or they could take the script and make it fly. Nobody knows.
Yeah.
You know what it is? I don't know who told me. I can't remember who was the one who told me this. There's so many elements that could fuck it up.
Yeah.
You know, the writing, the director, the actors, the producer. How about this? You can make a great movie, but then they screw up the marketing.
Yeah.
And nobody sees it.
Yeah. Well, that we know. Yeah. Crazy business. I don't think there's any business other than the government that wastes more money or throws more money away than the film business or the entertainment.
In a studio movie,
Yeah.
Yeah, they can get
Crazy.
crazy. Yes, they could. They could. That's why I like doing independent movies. It's all the money's up on the screen.
Yeah.
I like that.
Well, listen, crazy time. We thought you'd enjoy that during the Easter and Passover season. And I know from myself and from Chazz, we wish you all a very happy Easter. Hope you're having a terrific week before and after.
That's correct.
And
be grateful. Thank God, whether you're a Catholic, whether you're a born-again Christian, or you're just a man of a good guy. Always be grateful. Always look up to the heavens, whatever God you believe in, and say, I'm grateful for the life I've had.
yeah, you know, Chazz, I have to say something because I think it's appropriate this time of the year. I was always a pretty forgiving guy for some reason. It's part of my DNA. Sometimes to a fault, my wife says, you know, why do you forgive this guy? And he's, well, it's okay.
Yeah.
But when I look back and when I was in Scripture, and I'm a New Testament guy, I enjoy the New Testament. I've read it I don't know how many times. But when Jesus was persecuted and he was on the cross, innocent, and people betrayed him and did the horrible things that they did to him, when he looked down, I think the 10 greatest words that were ever spoken were by Jesus when he said, "Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do." And it made me realize something. You know, it's very burdensome to carry around hatred and revenge and just bad feelings, whether it be a family member, a friend, or whatever. It's so burdensome. You know, you don't want to see that person, and it grinds away with you. And it's so much easier to forgive and to just get it over with. So, you know, this is the good time of year for that, people. If there's something that's really been irking you with somebody, whether it be a family member or a friend, you know, try to release that burden off yourself and just be forgiving. You'll see. I know it's kind of hard. I'm not saying it's the easiest thing in the world, but if you can reach within yourself and do that, I think you'll benefit.
I mean, they talk about envy and jealousy and hatred. It's like taking poison and expecting the other person to die. You know what I mean? It's not going to happen. That's poison inside of you. Let it out. Just let it out. All right. This is Chazz Palminteri,
The Wise, and I'm Michael Franzese.
the Wise Guy.
And we'll see you next time. Take care.